What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and it is time for a Bloodline Heroes of Lithas tier list update for fall of 2024. So I'm going to go through and re-rank some of the 118 heroes I previously graded and give new grades to the 20 new champions we got since my last update. All right, so I've done a number of tier list videos at this point. Make sure to go check those out because I don't go through every single champion again in every video. I will re-rank some of the ones that I think have changed and shifted in the meta, but if you want to get a sense for all the champions in the game up to this point, make sure to go check those out. I'm going to cover my grading system right now, which is going to be the same one I used in my last video. We have S tier, which are just the god heroes in the game. They're the ones that if you're going to go after any champion, these are the ones that you really should get to put on your top teams if you can. A heroes are ones that absolutely can fit in your top teams, but they don't have to be. These are not absolutely 100% necessary, but absolutely fit into the top teams. B tier heroes are ones that can fight for that position in a top team, but only if you really build a strategy around them. You often see B heroes in like tier 2 teams or tier 3 teams potentially. C heroes could make it in a like tier 2 or 3 strategy as long as you're really careful with what you're doing, but often get the cut in teams. Niche means you really only ever use that hero for like one purpose potentially. So those heroes are not often used. And then hell no are heroes that just basically are a detriment to your team. They actually have a negative impact no matter like what you're trying to do. And I would never put them on a team in a million years. So first, let's go through and regrade some of these. I'm thinking that Ugril female is probably fine at C. Fulgur female, I think, has really moved into niche tier. Limestone male has moved into niche tier. They're not getting a lot of use. Galabar male is still really tough. I can leave him there. Bloom Uncounted female, Choir Discordant male, Warbringer male still serves a purpose. Ashmane, I think I'm gonna move him down into niche. I think he's a high niche hero though, but I don't see a lot of him anymore. He's just really, really tough. Devala male, I think, is pretty niche at this point. You still have a couple good heroes in Samir male, Ignis female, Aeson male. Male Fulgur is really good for newer players, so I'm going to leave him there. Gultung male, he's about niche. I think I can leave him at C, though. He's got a really good trait, and he's tough at the very beginning, good against bosses and things like that, but not for the more experienced players. Orost female, I think I can move her to niche by now. Dawnbringer male is probably fine here. Soulkeeper female, we don't really use all that much. Akuna female, I'll leave there. The Bjorn Kriegers, I'm just gonna leave them at C for now, but their grades are going down. I imagine next time they'll probably be in that niche tier. Siun female, I think I can leave here for now. Kajiki male, he's actually probably a high C tier. He's a low B or a high C. And I've been seeing better uses for him as people have been figuring him out. I'm actually going to go ahead and bump him up to a B tier. So Kajiki male, he's cool. And the Kajikis, I like their trait and everything. Then we have Yin male. I think he's ended up niche. And then Aiko, I'm going to leave at a C tier. The Bloodcraft champions are always really, really good. Even the ones that aren't that good. But she's there. If you get lucky and can happen to get her, it takes a lot to get her. Okay, taking a look at the B tier, I think I can move Tervain female down to C tier. She's basically a PvE specialist, and we have so many PvE heroes in this game now that she's not as important as she used to be, but she's got one of the best traits in the game, Agile. Choir Discordant female can probably stay at B, although she's trending down. I bet in my next video she'll probably be a C. Selphos male, he's a low B. I'm gonna leave him at B. Stone Thrower female, she's there. Devala female though, there's just not much great about her anymore, but she's still used quite a bit, so I'm gonna put her at C. The Bloom Uncounted male, he's trending down. Gultung female, she's still fine there. By the way, I'm going to leave Bloom Uncounted male in the B tier because still good for taking out the backline if you can. There's just other heroes that do that now. Tide Razor male, I'm moving down to C. Askavarj male. He can move up, absolutely. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and say he's S tier. I think I underrated him until I really started playing around with him in my strategies. And if you do it right, um, you kind of need him on your team to disrupt what the other team is doing. My whole theory behind him previously was because of his animation, he looked like he was doing a whole lot more than he was actually doing. Uh, but actually, in reality, it appears he's doing a lot of what it looks like he's doing. It's just the being able to kind of control the entire other team and get them to focus on him, and get them all out of position and everything is just really powerful in this meta. The male Ho I still think is a B. Wood Scourge, I think Wood Scourge has become niche. Very good in a like one-on-one type of PvE situation, or like a single on a team, but you're not doing that like too super often. Male Yivnian, we're gonna move down to C tier. Lionstone female, I'm gonna leave her at B. I moved her down from A previously. I still think she's a B because what she does is really good, but it's just that heroes today do more than what she's doing. Thunderlords male and female, yeah, they're gonna move down. Guys, they're good, they're exciting, but they just aren't breaking through to this B tier. I don't feel like. Corbett female, same thing. Silken Crown female, same thing. I'm gonna move the Kivok female up actually to A. The Kivoks are actually getting better and better as we play around with them more, and they have a fantastic trait that I like to put on almost everything that deals damage. Just a really, really high quality clan there. Siyun male, I'm gonna move down to C, even though I like him a lot and I actually use him against bosses because he racks up a ton of damage, but it's basically only against bosses. So that's why he's there. The Kajiki female, yeah, I mean, I think Kajiki male and female, this is just a good clan. I like them at B. Yin female, I had higher hopes for her, but I think that B is probably the right place for her, but she's trending down as we're getting other heroes that do a lot of what she does, but a little better. We'll probably see her end up in the C tier next time. Sunbolt, I'm going to move down. I love Sunbolt. It pains my heart to move Sunbolt to C tier, but it's just that if you're going to run Bloodcraft champions, there's better ones, and there's other just regular heroes that you can get potentially easier that do a lot of what Sunbolt does. Okay, let's take a look at the A tier. We have Selphos female, who I think is a high A tier. I mean, I have Selphos unquestionably in my top team, and I'd like to put her in S tier. I like her more the more I play with her. She does an enormous amount of damage if you give her vigor, and I think a lot of people underrate her. I'm going to leave her at A though, just because I don't think she's absolutely necessary to be on a team, a top team, but I think she is certainly welcome in that top spot, and she's almost S tier. Bloodstorm's still an A. Cigaric male, I would say I'm going to move Cigaric male to B tier, even though he's still really, really good at what he does, both in PvP and PvE, but he's more of a PvE hero. But it's nice to get him into the backline and really, I mean, he really takes out backline heroes. So if you're really targeting a difficult backline, he's a good one to do, but we just don't see him in the top tier teams in these days. Female Tide Raisers also moving down as we get some better tanks in the game. Soul Keeper's male, I'm going to move down to B tier. And I know this is going to be controversial because he just deletes other champions, right? And it looks extremely powerful. But here's the thing, that his vigor has to be really high, and he has to be on a team that's like already really powerful. And that team was probably going to win anyway. He's not, I don't believe Soul Keeper's male actually puts the team he's on over the top. I don't. I think that team would win anyway with another champion. And actually, I think the other champion you put in his place is going to do more to win the match anyway. So he's what I call a win more champion. You were already going to win anyway. He just kind of does it in a flashy way and deletes the opponents. So that's what I think about him. Okay, taking a look at some of these others here. I really, really like All Map Male, but I'm going to put him down in B tier. He's just kind of drifting around in my like tier 2 and 3 types of teams at this point, but does a lot of damage. All Map Female, I'm going to move down, same kind of reason. That's a really good clan though. Zeiston, I'm going to move Zeiston to, I know this is going to be controversial. I'm going to move Zeiston to C tier. A lot of people really like Zeiston and use him, and he's tough and he's powerful. But we've gotten regular tanks recently that are tougher and do more. And that's just the way it is. And I still see people using him in top teams, but I think those teams would be even better if they use like Male Ascavarge, for example. Okay, and then Lupercal. Oh, we've got Acuna, and we've got Lupercal. Let's do Acuna first. Acuna, I'm still gonna say is A tier. Acuna's sort of like a poor man's Male Water and Sun, in that he does a lot of what Male Water and Sun does, but actually a little more CC, which is nice. You can pair those two together really, really well. But I don't think Acuna Male does what Male Water and Sun does better than Male Water and Sun. That's why we're going to leave Male Water and Sun at S tier and Male Acuna at A tier. Lupercal, though, absolutely I'm moving up to S tier. This guy just keeps getting better and better. And at this point, on the top teams, they have Lupercal just doing enormous amounts of damage in PvP. And he's also a really great PvE hero as well. I am going to move Phoenix down from S tier to A tier. Still absolutely worthy of being in the top teams, but I don't think it's an absolute must like Lupercal seems to be right now. But she's a high A tier for sure. I'm going to move Ho Female down as well because I think at this point you can swap her in and out of a top team and it would be okay. It's going to be fantastic with her, and you don't necessarily need her though. Male Corbett, in my opinion, has kind of landed in the same type of territory. Absolutely great in top teams, but not necessary. Silken Crown Male, I'm going to move down as well. And he's really great at control. The web is really nice that he does. I have him in my top team. But I'm starting to get that itch of, potentially trading him out to try out some of the new champions we just got. And that's why I'm moving him down to A tier. So in the S tier, we're left with Male Water and Sun, Ascavarge Male, and Lupercal. Okay, before I continue with the brand new champions, I just want to say that this is your last chance to join me in Gemstone Legends and get a free welcome pack worth $50 that includes an epic hero and a whole bunch of free stuff to help you get started. And you only get this welcome pack if you use my link in the description of this video. Now, if you're new to my channel, Gemstone Legends is a game I've been playing for a long time, and it's because it's a match 3 RPG strategy game, which is one of the most carefully crafted and well-developed games I have ever played. Like, the meta is incredibly diverse. You collect heroes, you level them up, you customize your heroes, and you fight opponents all around the world. I'm serious. Join me because you have no idea what you're missing out on. And remember, you only get that welcome pack if you use my link in the description. Now we're going to take a look at the champions that have arrived since the last time I did a tier list video, starting with the Shoten clan. And I do think that the Shotens have a really good trait. I love their trait. I think there can be some shenanigans with it, especially as they put out more and more heroes. But as far as what Male Shoten does, I think I can put him in the C tier. And honestly, he's very quickly trending into niche territory. I don't see him a whole lot in teams. And if you use him, you have to be really careful with the strategy you're going to do. But I do like his movement around the battlefield. I do like the damage that he does. He's just not more powerful than a lot of champs that came along with him. And I think, honestly, Female Shoten's probably right there with him. I do favor the male a little more than the female, but they're kind of both in about the same tier, but look for them to trend down as we go on. Now we get the Panda Co male. I think he's A tier, and he surprised me a little bit in how tough he actually is. And I think he just kind of sets the pace for a match. When he's up front and he's just soaking up damage and attracting attention around the battlefield, it really disrupts what the opponent is trying to do. But I don't think he disrupts the opponent as much as Male Ascavarge, which is why I have Male Ascavarge in the S tier and Panda Co Male here in A tier. But he's certainly good. You could do a lot worse for a tank. There's some good tanks here in S, A, and B tier that honestly are kind of interchangeable, but I do think sit on a couple of different tiers. The Panda Co female, like, she's fine too, but I have to put her in C tier. And she's just certainly going to get overshadowed by the male. Let's look at Nereid. Nereid really did shake up the meta. Nereid male, however, he's gonna get overshadowed. I'll put him in C tier. If you're going for Nereid, you're going for female, and she's an S tier hero. She's really a tier 1 type of hero in your top team. I personally am not actually using Nereid in my top team, but I absolutely could be. Honestly, I need to put more vigor on my Nereid female in order to take advantage of what she does. But the trance can really just mess up an opponent and make her almost indestructible while she's deleting opponents off the battlefield. She is a one-woman wrecking crew and can take out... I mean, I've played matches before where it's my team versus a team that has Nereid female, and my team quickly takes out everybody on the opponent's team, except for Nereid female, who then just sits there and kills the rest of my team. I'll have 4 heroes left, and she'll just kill the rest of them. She's absolutely an S tier hero. And how S tier she is actually kind of depends on how many resources you're going to put into her. It's very intensive to get her leveled and to put the right traits on her that are going to make her this S tier. Like she's low S tier if you're just going to do regular stuff to level her up. She's going to be high S tier if you do it correctly. Now, maybe this is going to be unpopular. Maybe people are thinking the same kind of thing that I am, but I am just going to quickly say that the next 4 heroes, Word of Lack male, female, Sith male, and Sith female, or Kith. I'm not sure how you say it. You can tell me in the comments how you think you say this, Kith or Sith. I think all 4 of them are niche, and I'm disappointed by that. I really thought that they had more potential than they actually have, but they're not really being used much at all. I do think the male Sith is getting a little more use than the other 4, but I haven't seen where he's actually good enough to really break into higher tiers. I really wanted the cat people to be better than they actually are, but unfortunately I'm going to put all 4 of them in niche. The Arbiter male and the female are almost right there with him. I think they had these string of heroes that just weren't that good. I think that I need to see more out of the Arbiter male and female, but I'm going to put them in C tier for now, just because I think that they do more than the 4 that I had just stated, but they're quickly trending towards ending up in niche as well. We'll probably see that by the time I do a next update, unless we can kind of figure out a good strategy for them that works. Next, we're going to take a look at Vimana male, who I'm going to put in B tier. And I think he's really good. Honestly, he's quite disruptive in a PvP situation, but he does enormous amounts of damage in PvE. So he's a PvE all-star against the bosses. Really good, gonna do a ton of damage. I haven't been able to get him to break into my top tier, which is why you're not seeing S or A as a grade for him. But really good on the tier 2 and 3 types of teams that I have been building. He acts a lot like a male Ascavarge, but he's not as tough and he's not as fast. That's why he's a whole 2 letter grades lower than male Ascavarge. So he's trying to do his best impression that way, but just not quite as good. Now he has the potential to do more damage than a male Ascavarge does, but he's not nearly as disruptive, which is why I put him there. Then we're going to go with the female Vimana. She's fine too. I'm going to put her in C tier though. She doesn't serve as many purposes as he does, not as flexible. Now we're going to take a look at the Crimson male. I'm going to put him in C tier. I do favor the Crimson female a little bit more too than the male, but I think they still land in the same tier. I think she's more of a high C tier. He's more of a low C tier. And you know, we're still seeing if they can make a splash in the meta, but so far I haven't seen enough of a splash to say that they're better than C tier. And then we have some brand new champions that just came out. Actually, as of the release of this video, you can still summon for them brand new. And that is the male Dire, who I really like his skill set. I like everything that he's doing. I'm going to put him in B tier for right now. So I'm going to put him up there. I think it's going to take some more testing to do, but he does a lot of damage. He does a whole lot of damage. But there's a reason he's in B tier, and that's because damage is what he does. Not much more than that. You can get more CC, like control, out of other heroes potentially than he does. But I think he's right there with like the Vimana male and the Almats, and like he's really good. However, the Vimana female right now, I'm going to say is an S tier hero. Because for a ranger, that usually among the Rangers targets one opponent, she does AoE and can target multiple opponents. And she can take out a male water and sun very quickly, really before the male water and sun gets going. That active skill she's got is really, really good. And I think I'm as excited for her release as I was for the Nereid female. I have actually already summoned for her. I couldn't even wait. Sorry, I didn't do a video for it, but I've already summoned for her. She's the one that I'm leveling up. I do think she has an Achilles heel. She's a little fragile. So when you build her, she's got to have a lot of vigor, or you're going to have to like maybe put honorable as a trait on her until you can get her vigored up enough to put another big damage trait on her. But if you can keep her alive, she can do a lot of damage in that phase of the battle where just passives and actives are going off before the ultimates even go. So she's going to be really good in the Luxus tournament and everything too. Now we're going to move to Bloodcraft champions. We got a couple here since the last video. One is Heaven Sage. I do like him a lot, but I'm going to put him in B tier. He's not one you're going to see, especially in top tier PvP teams, but he does do a whole lot of PvE damage. I do like him a lot for that. And I use him for that. He's one of my boss champions, so I'm going to put him there. And then we've got one more here, Molten Wind. I think I'm going to put him in B tier 2. He's just not going to do enough to land in top tier PvP matchups. But he's kind of cool and fun to play with in PvP matchups where you're really trying to strategize around the other champions you're using with him. I think he could be used for PvE as well, but he's more of just like a fun type of hero you want to play around with. I do think though, he might be trending towards being a C tier hero in the next tier list video that I do. It's just going to depend on what heroes come out from there. But he's a fun hero. So this is what I have as a tier list. We do have a lot of movement in the S and A tiers since the last time, and I think that's because the meta is shifting, and we're kind of starting to see a meta where male water and sun isn't as dominant as he was before, and we're getting some other S tier heroes to kind of join him up there. And I'm curious to know your thoughts. I'm sure there's people that agree with me, disagree with me on some of these. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.